than normal practices today. So that was good.
What was it like having? I mean, I know you're not on the same side of the field, but what was it like having Jaylen Ramsey back on there?
It was cool. Just his presence alone, his leadership out there, got to go against him a little bit as he was on the other side while the offense was up. He did jump in on some reps. Just a great teammate, giving us some good looks. But I mean, for what he had, I mean, it's pretty remarkable. The competitor that he is, that he's put in the time, a lot of time, into trying to get back as soon as possible. And like I said, it's truly remarkable.
Too, I know the past couple of weeks, we've talked to you a lot about kind of your control and mastery and really taking autonomy of the offense in a sense, like calling your own plays and calling your own shots. I was curious, can you kind of take us a little bit behind the scenes of like the week of preparation, like when I think you get the game plan on Tuesday, and what's the communication like with Mike and really letting him know what you like and what you feel comfortable with?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with feeling comfortable for one, and then knowing the guys that are running certain routes for two. Do we like this guy running this route versus press? Do we like this guy off? Do we want to motion him? Do we want to do things like that? And a lot of the times, it's more so Mike's on that already. Just some of them, they're like, hey, like I would just say, hey, would you want to do this or would you want to do that? And he'd either be like, yeah, or no, like just trust me on this one. So there's a lot of communication in that sense. And then just throughout the week, communicating with the guys what we're looking for in this defense, sort of the spots in which the routes happen, where we're trying to hit. So things like that. That's all we talk about.
Are there throws that you can make now that maybe rookie year coming off the hip, and certainly you've gotten stronger too. Are there throws that you're making now that you haven't been able to make before?
Um, I would say a lot of the routes that we have this year, I've never had my rookie year or my second year. And then just playing like within the timing of the like each play, it's all different. The maturity of who I was then to who I am now as a football player has changed a lot too. So I would probably say no, but then at the same time I wouldn't know.
I wanted to ask you about you've always said that you throw spots as opposed to receivers, and that's just something that you've always done. Does that help you when you're looking off guys?
Yeah, it does help me when I'm looking off guys. Um, in practice, I mean, I sometimes it's not just looking off guys. It's just looking here, knowing that this guy is going to be over here. So then I look in over there and I throw it over there, or looking over here to move this guy and I throw it over there in the next window. Um, but a lot of the times with looking people off, it's more so knowing the spots on the field where guys should be, and that's what allows us to play the way we play. I think is talking through those and guys being in the right spots at the right time, and then knowing when to hold safeties, and when it's just you just got to work through your progression when it's not useful at that time.
Tua, some people look at Sunday's game as a potential Super Bowl preview. How do you view it? And with a week like this, do you stay in touch with Jalen Hurts, or do you guys prefer to stay out of each other's way?
Yeah, I think in competition mode, it's one of those things where I know where he's at, with his play. He knows where I'm at with my play. We'll probably see each other before the game to wish each other luck, but at the end of the day, we're both trying to help our teams win. And I know that he's doing all that he can to help his offense be successful against our defense. And I'm doing the exact same, trying to work hard to do the exact same to their defense. But yeah, I got a lot of respect for Jalen. He's been a great competitor since I've got there to Alabama. He's been a special player since I've been there, and he's been a special player throughout his entire college career. So I know it'll be a good game, and I don't think of it as a Super Bowl preview or anything like that. I just think that this is another team that we're preparing for, and in order for us to get to where we want to go to, we got to play this team.
What do you think of the way your two careers have taken off in the NFL after competing together at Alabama?
Yeah, I mean, there's different ways to skin the cat, right? Many different ways. He went down a different road than I did to get to where I'm at, and he had to go down a different road to get to where he's at. But like I said, I got a lot of respect for him, who he is as a person, who he is as a player, and wish him the best of luck as we play him.
Tua, when you put the Eagles defense on tape, what are a couple things that stand out to you?
I mean, their front seven's tough. Really good front seven. And then, with their back end a little banged up, when they do have all their guys, they're a really, really good team. Lot of communication on that back end, and they play really, really good and really sound defense.
Does that feel like an SEC defense to you?
Every NFL team feels like an SEC defense. They all feel like an SEC defense. But, yeah, I would assume that is more of an SEC defense. They got a lot more SEC players on their team, I would say.
To throwing it, way back to 2017, what do you remember about that postseason run up to the national title game, the Sugar Bowl, the championship game?
Man, I don't remember much. I don't remember much of it. I just remember being able to come into the national championship game and play. And I just had an opportunity, to go out there and help our team win. But really, that's all that I can remember. Is Ann's Georgia Bulldogs that we got to play against and beat. But other than that, that's all I remember.
You guys obviously don't need any extra motivation, clearly, but I'm curious when you see, Jaylen Ramsey, most people would be out until December or whatever, just the commitment he had to get back and then actually do it, and, what he adds, off the field as far as just his positivity and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, Jaylen Ramsey's leadership, who he is, just him being out there, his persona. Guys respect him for the things that he's done in the league already. And then also you got to respect the way he works day in and day out. As we've started the season, as we've went through training camp, just seeing him working by himself, doing things that allow him to get back on the field as soon as possible. That's how guys have portrayed it. He's earned a lot of respect from the guys in the locker room.
I know the idea of statement games is probably more on our end than it is on yours. These sort of matchups, they get a lot of attention. Do you guys need this kind of test internally, though, as a litmus test to kind of see where you are as your championship timber and all that?
I think it's always good when you're facing a team that went to the Super Bowl, where they were just that short of winning it. It's always a test to go up against a team like this, where they understand what it takes. They know the work that needs to be put in to make it there. And it definitely is a good opportunity to see where our team stands and where we're at with that. So, yeah, I would say, yeah.
So they've had a lot of success with the quarterback sneaks. From your vantage point, I guess, looking at those plays, is it something that Jaylen's doing specifically, or maybe the O-line? How do you think that's become as successful as it has for them?
Honestly, I have no idea. That is crazy what they do. You got to give props where props are due, and that is remarkable how successful they are in doing that. But in a way, it's also no surprise with Jaylen being in the back there, with how strong he is. I've been his lifting partner when I got there to Alabama, and oh my goodness. Let me tell you, he could probably squat with our linemen, or maybe just a little more. Like, this guy can squat. This guy can squat. He's strong. So it doesn't surprise me with the quarterback sneaks. And that's not to diss any of our linemen. That's just to say, like, I've seen this dude put up a lot of weight, and he has lifted with some of our linemen in Alabama. So he's strong.
What was it like, and this has nothing to do with the NFL, but just curiosity, like, what was it like for you when you get to Alabama, coming from Hawaii? You get to Alabama and you start to see, maybe for the first time, guys who are like, wow, this guy's going to the league, or like, wow, this is a different caliber of athlete.
Yeah, I think when I got there, it was like, okay, I don't want to mess up what we have here, so I'm gonna try to find where I fit. But then it's also one of those things where, like, if you weren't strong mentally, you either had to be, like, find out you had to be, or figure it out, or you just you wouldn't have made it there. Like, there was just like an aura around there that was just like, you didn't really speak of what the standard was, but when you got there, you knew what that was, and you knew you couldn't do anything like to bring that down, and the guys wouldn't allow you to do that. So, yeah, when I got there, I thought I seen some big people in my life. Like, these guys, they all look like they're on steroids when I got there.
But they weren't.
It's crazy. Oh my gosh. But they weren't. But they weren't. Just say. They weren't. We weren't. Yeah, we weren't. Thanks, guys.